Hi everybody, it's Cathryn from In the Pink Designs. My project today is a pink trick-or-treat favor box. It measures 2 3/4 by 4 1/4, and it will go up to about 3/4 inch wide, depending on what you put inside there. I'm using the Pick of the Patch bundle along with the Nested Essentials dies. For this here, I'm using the second largest one. Alrighty. I also use the Bright and Beautiful Designer Series paper and some blooming pearls right there. Alrighty, this is my host code. Please put that in for any purchases under $150, and I will send you a little thank you gift. Okie doke. So what we need for this project, this time I'm going to switch it over to a black cardstock in the background. So we need a piece of basic black that is 8 by 6.5. Of the Bright and Beautiful DSP, we need 2 pieces that are 2.5 by 4 and 1 piece that is 2.5 by 1 1/4. We need some basic white for stamping, and I cut out this rectangle out of the Bright and Beautiful DSP and using the Nested Essentials, but the rectangle measures 1 7/8 by 2.5 if you want to just cut one. Alright, so let me get my Simply Scored, and we're going to start on the 8-inch side. Alright, so score at 1/2, 1, 3 3/4, 4 1/4, 4 3/4, and 7 1/2. Okay, now turn it a quarter turn to the 6.5-inch side, and we're going to score at 3/4 and at 5. Alright. Now what I want you to do first, these 2 strips that have 2 1/2-inch skinny rectangles there, I want you to fold the middle one up against where the valley is. Okay, so the bumps are on this side of the paper. Usually we fold towards just the one line in the middle of the 2 skinny rectangles. I want you to fold up. Alright, and that's what makes this go in like that. Alright, so then the rest of it we can just fold and burnish as regular. Alright, so now what we're going to do, now we have a strip of 2 1/2-inch rectangles over here, and then one over here, and there's a 3/4-inch strip at the bottom and a 1 1/2 at the top. Right, and this is what we're going to be doing. Okay. Alright, so we're going to start down over here. We're going to go to the second score line, cut it to the first score line, and cut off those 2 small rectangles there. Okay, go to the next score line, cut it to the first score line, and then we're going to get rid of everything. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4 pieces here. We're just going to cut them right off. And then we're going to wedge up into that skinny rectangle at the end. Alright, so now turn it so that the 2 strips of 1/2 inch are over here now. And what we're going to do is we're going to count. Okay, we're going to cut 1, 2, 3 to the 4th score line and cut it to the 1st score line. And then we're going to take everything off of this side. Okay, and then just wedge up into the skinny rectangle at the end here. Alright, then go to the next score line, cut it to the first score line, and get rid of those 2 rectangles there. Alright, now we just need our corner rounder, and we're going to round the corners of this rectangle and this one at the bottom. And this is what your cardstock should look like after you're done scoring and cutting. Now what we're going to do is get some tear and tape and put it on this single 1/2-inch rectangle that's at the edge next to the score line. And what we want to do is make it the score line here flush with the end of this rectangle over here. So I'm going to take the backing off. I'm going to flip it over. Okay, I'm just going to flip over the part with the tape, and then I want to bring this side over so that that double rectangle, that first one, is going to connect it. Okay, and then this is the edges. All right, that's how they go in like that. All right, and before we put the bottom together, we want to get our DSP. So we need 2 pieces of the Bright and Beautiful that are 2.5 by 4, and I'm going to put one on the front and one on the back. And the piece that is 2.5 by 1 1/4 just rounds the one of the long sides. Okay, and I'm going to put them all on with liquid glue. Okay, and then the small piece goes right up here on that back flap. Okay, then we're going to put glue on this bottom flap here. And we're going to squeeze the box down and flip this up. And you have to kind of hold this for a little while so it stays. Okay, and that is our box. All right, let's let that dry a minute, and I think I do like it in the black better. All right, so now we need our piece of Bright and Beautiful Designer Series paper that we cut with the Nested Essentials dies, and it came out to 1 7/8 by 2.5. And I'm going to take Tuxedo Black ink, and I'm going to get the Sentiment Cutie Pie, and we're going to put that right on the bottom of our rectangle. Okay, let's let that dry, and then we need our piece of basic white, and we're going to stamp the crow, which I do have to do is cut out by hand. All right, we need this again in a minute, but first let's get Bubble Bath ink, and we're going to get the largest pumpkin. I'm going to pop that right there, and I'm going to get the pick of the patch punch and just punch that right out. Okay, then we need the Tuxedo Black again for the pumpkin's face. Okay. Then I'm just going to cut off this so I don't get them with the punch. All right, and then we need Old Olive ink. And we're going to do the leaf. Cut the leaf out. Okay. And then we need the stem out of Old Olive also. Alrighty. There's all our pieces. And then we're going to go back to, now that our sentiment piece is dried, and I'm going to take the Bubble Bath ink and the little leaves. I'm going to put on some scrap here, and I'm just going to stamp the leaves in Bubble Bath onto the background and just make it a little bit, have a little bit of dimension and interest in the back there. All right. It gets really light, but you see something. All right. Now I'm going to take 2 Stampin' Blends. I'm going to use Dark Daffodil Delight for the beak and Dark Granny Apple Green for the eye. And then I'm just going to cut this out by hand. All right, then we're going to take our stem and glue it to the back of the pumpkin. And then I'm going to take dimensionals and put them on the back of the pumpkin. And I'm going to put this, I'd say about 1/4 inch above the sentiment. And then I'm going to take a mini dimensional and put it at the tip of the leaf. And then put just a little bit of glue on the bottom here. Then I'm just going to stick it right behind the pumpkin and the stem. And then for the crow, I'm going to just cut regular dimensionals or pieces. Have to trim that one off. And I'm just going to have his feet touching this top left side of that pumpkin there. Okay, now what I first put in here, I forgot to show you what I put in, is a Fun Dip, little fun size, but you can also put in the Reese's. You can put the one that's a little bigger than this in here too. All right, and then if you have a bigger thing, what you want to do is take your top here and just curve it a little bit so that when it goes over, it doesn't really bend up. All right. Okay, and then we're going to get some glittered organdy ribbon. I'm going to put it under the back and bring it up. And we want to tie a bow right here at the top. There we go. Okay, then we're just going to clip it off. And then just make sure your bow is where you want it. And then we're going to put dimensionals on the back of our rectangle. And then put it right here towards the bottom over the ribbon so that you can catch the ribbon in the dimensionals. All right, and for the final touch, I'm going to take some blooming pearls, this kind right here, which I think is pretty peacock, and I'm going to put one on each side of the sentiment. There you go. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, my email is below. There are links for my blog that has all the directions, my shop where you can purchase any of these things, and my Facebook page where I put different announcements over there. Alrighty. Have a great day, and I will see you on Friday. Bye.